morning, students. I hope everybody is happy and safe by the grace of God in your houses. Today I am going to teach you the first chapter of your lesson in history, that is regarding the historiography development in the West. Before to start with this lesson, let me recall what you have learned in the last year. The first lesson itself you have learned regarding the sources of history, then regarding the India in 1960, the events from that year. Then you have learned regarding the economy of India, the development took place in that year, science and technology, and how the people try to bring the development into their lifestyle. At the same time, in every lesson they try to give you some message. Now this year, in this lesson of historiography, we will be learning something new. We will be learning regarding the Western countries, how the historians try to bring researches and how they try to study regarding the history. So let us start.
So under this first lesson historiography, we will be learning the sub-points. First, tradition of historiography. Second, modern historiography. Third, development of scientific perspective in Europe and historiography. And fourth, notable scholars. Now before to start with the sub-points, let us first understand the meaning of the lesson historiography. Now all of you know historiography means writing of history and how the development took place in the Western countries. That means how the historians started writing regarding the history, or how they started studying regarding the history in the Western countries. In historiography, historical research, writing and studies are carried out with an important objective of understanding the chronology of the past events and their interconnection. That means whenever we are trying to write regarding the history, all those events should be interconnected. There should be some sequence of the events, or there should be some connection of all the events, and this is a continuous process. For example, whenever we are learning regarding the Mahatma Gandhi phase, there are the three important phases in Mahatma Gandhi era. That is, first regarding the non-cooperation movement, second regarding the civil disobedience movement, and third regarding the Quit India movement. Now, if just wanted to discuss regarding this phase, we can't just tell, means the Quit India movement have taken first than the non-cooperation movement. No, whichever the event took place first, we have to mention that event first than the next event. Next is regarding the empirical method. The empirical method means laboratory method of experiments and observation which is used to verify the available knowledge. This method allows formulating the laws that remain true irrespective of time and space, and it can be tested and proved repeatedly. For example, I can give you regarding the photosynthesis, or maybe regarding the how the process starts and how we are getting the result of it. If any scientist is doing the research on photosynthesis, if he try to do the research, suppose say in the 18th century, if I have done the research in the 18th century, and if he try to do the research again on that photosynthesis, say after some time, he will be getting the same result on that. He won't be getting the different results. So they can just do the research and they can prove it repeatedly. Second, if we are trying to talk regarding this empirical method in history, we cannot be used to study history as we were not present in the historical time to observe and experiment, neither can we recreate the historical event. For example, if we just try to talk regarding the 1857 revolt, 1857 revolt which took place in the year 1857, we can't create that revolt again during the present time. The third point is that regarding the objectives of writing history, to put the past event in a chronological order and analyze. The first objective is to put the past event in a chronological order. So whenever we are trying to write regarding any event, we have to write in a chronological way and we have to analyze it. The second point is that to verify the authenticity of the collected documents. So at the same time, we have to verify that collected documents. And third, we have to ascertain the truth. After just verifying, we simply can't mention regarding the information or write regarding the document. You have to just ascertain the truth on that, and then only you can write regarding the history. So when we are writing the history, we have to begin, or we need an expert who knows the language and script of a historical document in order to read it and understand its meaning. Simply, a normal person can't write regarding the history. Expert only can examine the authenticity of the document by using criteria such as lettering style, author of style of writing, manufacturing date, type of paper, stamps, etc. All this type of documents can be found out by a historian with the help of relevant historical references. There are some methods such as archaeology, archival science, manuscriptology, epigraphy, linguistics, numismatics, genealogy. So we will be learning one by one here. Now archaeology means where the historian trying to visit historical places, an excavation site, and try to gather the information by just digging the line, trying to clean that area, and they have to do it very carefully, this work. And after just doing the research only, examining it, verifying it, they can just write regarding that information. Second one is regarding the archival science. Here in the archive, they try to store all documentaries or the books where we can study regarding the history in detail. The third is regarding the manuscriptology. In the manuscriptology, we can just try to understand the writer thinking, the style of his writing, during the time he wrote that books, or maybe we can understand the culture or the lifestyle of the people. Fourth one is regarding the epigraphy, that is regarding the study of inscriptions. Like earlier time, people used to inscribe many things that may be on the caves or stones. Fifth is regarding the linguistic, means regarding the language. Okay, different types of mode of language. Sixth is regarding the lettering style analyzing branch, where in that we can understand the style of letter, the language writer was using, or which paper he used to write that information. Seventh one is regarding the numismatics. Now numismatic means the study of coins, where they can understand what they try to inscribe on that coin, so which king have inscribed that coin, so during which period the king have inscribed that coins, which type of material or the metal he used to inscribe that coin. For example, we have learned in the 6th standard regarding the Greek emperor. When Greek emperor actually, when he tried to invade India, he started minting the coins, and whenever they used to mint the coins, they used to inscribe their god picture as well as the king picture. And the last one is regarding the genealogy. Genealogy means the study of lineage. Now in this, we are trying to study regarding the particular king hereditary age. For example, in the 7th standard, you have learned regarding the Shivaji Maharaj time, or his downline or the successors, we can say, who run the Bhosle family. And that thing they have shown with the help of the flowchart in the textbook. Same way you have learned regarding the Bajirao family with the help of the flowchart. Now we will be learning regarding the 4 subtopics under the historiography, that is regarding the tradition of historiography. So under this, we will be learning regarding the historical writings and the historians. Historical sources are critically examined and past events are preserved in writing. That means whenever they try to write regarding the history, whatever the sources they are getting, they have to first examine it, and they have to write regarding, they have to just preserve that information that may be in the books or whatever the sources which is available. Second point is that the writing of critical historical narratives is known as the historiography. And the person or the historian who tried to write regarding that narration or the narrative is called as the historian. Second thing is regarding, under the tradition of historiography, is regarding the historical writing. Historian is not in a position to include all the events in his narrative. That means that maybe suppose if the historian is trying to write 10 years before any event, he can't take all the events which took place during that time. He have to decide the events which he thinks should be reach the people. His perspective on those events depend upon the conceptual framework he adopts. Though historiography was not prevalent in the ancient societies, the people living those too felt that they should pass on the stories about the life and the valor of the ancestor to the generation. So these ancient communities used various means like cave painting or maybe storytelling, songs, ballads for this purpose. So today we have learned regarding the meaning of the historiography, the empirical method, objectives of writing history, then why we need expert to write down the history. Then there are the different branches which is used in the historical research, and the last topic is regarding the tradition of historiography. Now in the next session we will be learning something more regarding the historiography. Thank you.